Can you make your own board game? Hi, welcome to Curious Kids Every Day. I'm Josh. How are you doing today? It's so good to hear from you. Okay, today I want to tell you a little bit about my son, Isaac. Isaac is 6 years old. He's my oldest son. Do you want to know one of his favorite things to do? He loves coming up with his own board games. He has a notebook where he keeps all of his board game ideas. Every page is a different idea, and he's got all the rules written down, how many players it takes, how old you have to be to play, how long it takes to play it. I can just picture him over there right now. He's got his game notebook in front of him, and he's got a piece of paper. He's cutting out all the player pieces. It's a whole spread. It takes over the whole table. He told me that when he's older, he wants to have his own board game shop where he sells board games for kids. I told him that I've never heard of a board game store that only had kid board games, and I thought that it was a great idea. Now, because Isaac is always designing board games, he's really interested in how you actually get them produced. Like the board games that are on our shelf. How did they get made? Isaac kept asking me if I could make an episode all about how board games are created. So that's what we're going to do today. Today, we're going to learn how board games are created. And we're going to talk about how you can make your own board game right there at home. So, how do you make a board game? Well, it all starts with an idea. Game designers think about what kind of experience they want you to have. Do they want the game to be fast and silly, like a party game? Or maybe a slow and strategic game? Maybe it's an adventure game, or maybe it's a puzzle game. Well, once a game designer has the idea that they're really excited about, they start sketching things out, just like Isaac does in his notebook. They might draw rough versions of the board or write out some sample cards that they can use to start testing. Maybe they type out some rules for the game. And once they have enough that you could actually sit there and play the game, we call it a prototype. And next comes playtesting. This is a really important step. Any game that you have ever played in your life has been playtested. And if it's a really good game, it was probably playtested a lot. See, even if a game looks good after you have first thought of it, you don't know if it's fun until you watch people actually play it. So the designer takes their prototype and gives it to some friends and says, "Hey, will you try playing this game? Here are the rules, and I'm going to watch you do it." Of course, the designer probably plays through their game a lot on their own too, but the best feedback they're going to get is watching other people play, because their friends are going to very easily let them know about problems the game may have. Maybe the game has a strategy that can't be beat, or maybe there's a card in the deck that is way overpowered. Maybe the game is confusing, or the rules don't quite make sense. Maybe it takes too long, or maybe it's too short. Designers fix things and test again and fix things and play test again, sometimes for months or even years. Once the game finally works the way they want, it's time for the artwork. Artists come in and make the board look beautiful. They design the cards so they're easy to understand. They design tokens and player pieces. They choose colors and fonts. This stage really helps the game feel alive. And after the artwork is approved, everything goes to a printing factory. This is where the real building begins. Large sheets of thick cardboard go through machines that print the board artwork on top. Then the boards are laminated and cut into the right shapes. Cards are printed in giant stacks, cut into rectangles, sorted and bundled. Player pieces are made in different ways depending on the game. Some are wooden and get stained or painted. Some are plastic and are made in molds. Some pieces are cardboard punch-outs that you pop out yourself when you get your game. Whenever we get a new game, we always have fun grabbing those cardboard sheets and popping everything out. Now, once all the pieces are made, the factory workers begin assembly. They take the box, print the cover artwork, fold it into shape, and begin filling it. In go the cards, the rulebook, the dice, the tokens, the board, and anything else the game needs. Everything must match exactly so players don't get the wrong number of pieces. Finally, the finished games are shrink wrapped. Have you ever opened something that's got that thin sheet of plastic on it? That's called shrink wrap. Then they're placed into shipping boxes and they're sent all over the world to stores, warehouses, or even straight to people's homes. Now, this process from beginning to end takes a very long time. Not even factoring in all the time that it takes to come up with the rules and playtest your game, just the actual printing of the game and the assembly, that usually takes months. And the reason for that is that most games are printed overseas. When I've had some board game ideas in the past, I tried to see if I could print them here in the United States. But I found out that that's actually very difficult to do because most of the places that actually print games and have all of the machines and everything, they're located in China. Some are made other places, but most games are made in China. Actually, I bought a game for Isaac for Christmas that was made in Germany. So, can you make your own board game? Absolutely. You can start the same way the professionals do, with an idea, with drawings, with testing and creativity. And who knows? Maybe one day Isaac's Board Game Shop will be selling a game that you invented. Actually, that sounds pretty fun. Hey, what if instead of playing our usual games that we play after we learn something, what if we make a game instead? Then I can show you how easy it is to get started. Okay, well, we need an idea first. Oh, I know. Let's make this a really simple roll and move game. Do you know what roll and move means? That's a game where you roll a die and you move around the board and you're trying to get to the end. Sort of like a game like Chutes and Ladders or Candyland, even though in both of those examples you don't actually roll a die. In Chutes and Ladders you spin what do you call that thing? You know the thing where you spin the little arrow and it tells you what number, you spin a little wheel? I guess it's just called a spinner. And then in Candyland, you actually pick up cards. But all of those are kind of just called roll and move type games. So let's make one of those. Okay, in order to do this, we're going to need a piece of paper, a pencil, and a die. Do you think you can get those things? I bet you have a board game lying around that has a die already inside of it. Do you think you can get all that stuff? Okay, I'll wait. I am so excited to show you how easy it is to make your own board game. Okay, let's all draw a square on our piece of paper. Can you do that? All right, this is going to be our start space. Now, let's make another square next to it. Let's make the next square a little smaller than our start square. Now, I want you to just keep making squares about the same size as the last square you made. Just keep drawing them in a line, or maybe you can curve them up and around the piece of paper. each square you make is going to be a space that your player piece has to land on as they make their way to the end. Let's see, if we've got a normal die has 6 sides, so you can roll up to 6. So we don't want our game to be over too quickly. Why don't we try to make about, 20 squares or so from the start to the end space? And once you have about 20 squares that you've made, then let's make a big final square, and this will be the win space. You can even write the word win on that space. Win is spelled W-I-N. Okay, now, so far, our games are pretty similar, but now I want you to get creative, and here's how I want you to do it. On some of the spaces on your board, I want you to draw a 3. Inside of the box, draw a 3. And underneath each one of those boxes that has a 3, I want you to draw an arrow, either to head back or go forward. Now, if your piece lands on that space, you have to go 3 spaces in the direction where the arrow is pointing. So it's kind of like a go back 3 or go 3 more space. Now I want you to draw an X inside of one of the boxes. And this X, you do not want to land on this X. This X sends you back to the start. Okay, and let's add one more really fun thing. I want you to add a portal. This is going to be like a shortcut. So what you could do is just draw a line from one space to another space. And if you land on one of those spaces, you get transported to the other space. Now, those are all the instructions I'm going to give you, but if you have any other ideas for the spaces on your board, go for it. This is your game. And then you can play test it with your family. Oh, I thought of one more thing you're going to need for your game. You're going to need some player pieces. Maybe just look around and see if you have something small that you can use for the player pieces. Well, how does your game look? This is going to be so fun. Now you've got to give it a name too. I'm going to let you pick a name for your game. Hey, that was really fun working on that together. It's pretty amazing what you can do with paper and a pencil and just some imagination. You know, anybody who grew up to do some really, really cool job, they got started by doing exactly what you just did. Just sitting around, pretending, dreaming things up as a kid. Even if you can't really do the real thing yet, you can pretend. You can draw it up on a piece of paper. That's always the first step, is getting practice. I promise, the more practice you get doing the things you enjoy doing as a kid, the easier it is to be a grown-up. Well, what kind of question do you think we'll ask tomorrow on Curious Kids Every Day? I can't wait to find out, so until then, keep asking questions and stay curious, kids. And we've got a birthday today. Samuel from Virginia is turning 9. Happy birthday, Samuel. To all the grown-ups listening, if your kid wants their birthday mentioned on their birthday, please visit supportcuriouskids.com and join the Curious Kids Club. We've also got activity sheets for every new episode of the show, and today's activity sheet actually included some board game cutouts that you could use for the board game that we created. Pretty cool. Well, see you tomorrow.